Hey guys, here we go. So, I'm going to talk to you today about a series that I'm planning on doing, and it is all about sleep and how to get some. Yeah.
Please hang up and try again.
Okay, so have you ever experienced this? You are comfy cozy, ready for bed, and then you lay there, and you lay there, and hours later, you're still awake. No sleep. And so you're counting, you're like, if I fall asleep now, I'm still going to get 6 hours of sleep. All right? If I fall asleep now, I will still get 5 hours of sleep, 4.5 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep until you fall asleep and maybe you get 3 hours. And then your alarm goes off and there's nothing you can do about it. You're exhausted, you snooze, you snooze, you snooze, and you go into the day hoping for the best, but you're tired all day long. Obviously, because sleep is so dang important. Sleep affects so many things in your life. When you don't get enough sleep, your willpower is down. When you don't get enough sleep, you can't focus, you can't concentrate. Things that wouldn't bother you so much are going to bother you even more. So that's exactly why I want to talk about this, because it has a huge, huge effect on your mental health. So I plan on, over the next few weeks, months, all year, who knows, trying out a bunch of different suggestions that I've gotten from all of my friends on the best things that you can do to get better sleep. One of the things that I've already tried is a weighted blanket. So I'm going to talk about my experience with my weighted blanket. And then I'm going to try to change things up because, spoiler alert, it works, but not necessarily to the extent that I want it to work. I'm still not getting the sleep that I want, which is exactly why I'm doing this, because I want to figure out what is the best combination for me of what time should I go to bed, what time should I wake up, how much sleep should I be getting, what types of things during the day are going to affect my sleep, what types of patterns before I go to bed are going to help me. It's a routine, and I need to figure out what the best routine is for me, and hopefully as I go through some of these things it will kind of help you and inspire you to figure out what's the best routine for you. So yeah, that's the plan for the next few weeks. Like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about my weighted blanket, and then I'm going to talk maybe about, there's this device that I bought that is going to light up my ceiling in a pulsing thing, so that that's supposed to lull me to sleep. And then I've got this this app on my phone that plays different sounds that are supposed to kind of put your brain into this state that's ready for sleep, and then to kind of push you down into that deep sleep a little bit faster. Let's see, what else? Oh, routine. Somebody recommended that you have a specific routine that you go through each night at the same time of night. So if you have gotten into that routine, then your body knows it's time to sleep. And another friend told me to focus on one thing, or to listen to an audio book, or listen to music, to use lavender oil, to work out during the day, drink less caffeine during the day, all sorts of different things. So it's kind of what I'm going to go into during this whole sleep study thing that I plan on doing. So let me just give you a little bit of background into the things that I have already done. First and foremost, the reason that I'm doing this, okay, sorry. Okay, first and foremost, the reason I'm doing this is because that I started a new round of medication, and I'm not going to tell you what kind it is because I don't want my people to think that my job is like advocating for this. And I am not in any way, shape, or form advocating for people to go on medication, but I did. It's an SSRI, and I did it because that I was feeling especially anxious this year, and my depression, I was struggling with that. And so I was talking to a friend of mine, and he talked to me about medication. I always had this like attitude that certain people need medication, but that's not for me. I can handle it on my own, and literally in my own mind, I was pill shaming, and that's something that I'll talk about in another video as well. Is pill shaming and what that is, and why it's bad for us. So I was literally like just putting myself down, or putting down the prospect of taking pills in my mind. So he talked to me and he said it really didn't change a lot about him, but what it did is it made his recovery easier. It made processing through certain things easier. And so I decided to take it. And my big fear was that I was going to lose a lot of what makes me me, my peppiness and stuff like that. And to be completely honest, I think that I have felt a little bit of that. I feel a little bit of a disconnect at times, but what it's done is I have this visceral reaction to certain things and certain people and certain triggers, where when something upsets me, my heart starts to pound in my chest and my face gets all warm and I start to get shaky and I feel like this a bunch of energy pulsing through me. And even though in my mind I'm thinking these thoughts about, oh, that's irrational. Don't think like that. That's paranoid or whatever it is. This physical reaction that I have kind of makes it so that it's hard for me to be rational and intellectual about the things that I am experiencing. So what I have noticed is that since I've started to take these about 4 weeks ago, just about 4 weeks ago, I have not had that reaction. That physical reaction is very, very subdued. There are certain things that still, when I talk about them or when I think about them, I feel it, but I feel it at a much dulled level is what I'll say. It's not nearly as overwhelming as it was before, and I really appreciate that. There have been some things that I don't love about it, and I'm going to try to work through those over the next few months. I don't plan on staying on these forever, not because that I think there's anything wrong with that, but just because that I want to see if I can process through things enough that I don't necessarily need it, and then I'm not having that visceral reaction. But the things that I've noticed are, number one, that I don't necessarily respond as excitedly because I don't have that physical reaction to things. So while the negative emotions are dulled, the happy emotions are dulled too. But I think that that's something that I can work through, and I'll talk about coping mechanisms with that in the future. And it's just basically trying to figure out my new reaction to my surroundings and getting used to that and kind of reacclimating to what my version of happy is now, because I'm so used to, for the last 35 years having this physical reaction, and now that that's gone, I've got to figure out what is my new reaction to it. And I think that slowly but surely I'm starting to figure that out and building new habits, and it's becoming a lot easier. But the biggest thing and the reason why I'm doing this new series is that I have been so tired. So what I want to do is I played with when I took my pills. I started off taking them in the morning, but then by the end of the day, not even the end of the day, probably around noon, I was just exhausted. So I was taking them at around 6 o'clock in the morning and then feeling super tired by about noon. So I thought, okay, maybe if I take them at night, maybe what it does is if I can get sleep, right away. I take them at 6 o'clock at night instead. I go to sleep. I build up energy through my sleep. Then I can go through the day, and that's really helped me out. But I still do feel that tiredness, and so I've started to rely a little bit more on caffeine as I get further into the day. And I don't really want to do that, so I'm going to look at all of those different things that I've already mentioned, and then I'm going to look at my diet and the nutrition. I'm going to look at my sleep patterns, what type of day, what time of the month, all those different things. How is it all affecting me? And so I'm going to try to keep a sleep log, and I'm going to try to pay better attention to the things that I'm doing and what might be affecting it. I hope this is going to be helpful to you guys. I hope that you'll pop back. And if you have ideas for things that I can be doing to help me sleep better, or things that you've tried that have worked for you, or if you've got issues that you want to work on as well and want me to see if I can figure something out for that too, I am super interested. I love this research aspect of it, so hit me up, let me know what's going on with you, and we'll try to figure all of this out together, because I think it's going to be fun, maybe. Sleep is important. And so that's what's fun about it is it's a puzzle, and trying to figure it out is going to be a good thing. So I'm glad to be back, and I know I've hit you guys up with a lot of what's going on in my life right now, and once again I care about you, and hopefully I can be more consistent. Happy New Year. I hope that you enjoyed your holidays, and I hope that you'll be back for my next video.